Hello, college algebra. So today we're going to simplify rational expressions. So this last unit, the last thing we need to look at this week is rational functions. And the first step with rational functions is determining if it's even rational. Okay, so a rational function is just a function, like x plus 3, divided by another function, x squared minus 9. See how there's a function on the top and a function on the bottom, okay? That's what a rational function is, when there's a function on the top and a function on the bottom. So sometimes they look like this and they're misleading. It looks like it's rational. It looks like there's a function on the top and the bottom, right? But when we go look at this, we see that this is a relationship we've seen before, right? So what we can do is we can take that top, and we know it's a difference of perfect squares that's just made by conjugate pairs, right? So we got here is a set of conjugate pairs that made that difference of perfect squares. And then what you see is, because we are multiplying on the top here, right, I can cancel these two chunks out. Now, if this was addition right here, that'd be a big no-no, right? But it's not. So when we do that and we take that x plus 3 out of the bottom and the top, we find out that this is a linear function. So it wasn't even rational to begin with, okay? So the first step of all rational functions is to simplify them as much as you can to actually see what it is, okay? This one wasn't even rational. We also need to perform operations like we've been doing all year. We need to be able to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And really what this is a bunch of fraction math, okay? Now what we could do here, see it's a couple fractions, we could make a common denominator to combine these, right? Which usually means multiply the bottoms together. But holy cow, that'd be a huge bottom. So another way is to simplify what you have. So this side, that's pretty dang simplified. I can't get that any further, right? But this side over here, now I can make that quadratic on the bottom something different, right? It's just a regular quadratic from our quadratic unit. But man, if I could get this x minus 3, that'd be great. So I'm going to guess that. See how it kind of, that's the hint. If that works, then I'd be halfway to the common denominator, right? And it does. If you go do this quadratic, you'll see that it does work. And this would be the other factor. So then when I see that, then I'm like, oh, okay, all I got to do to this side is multiply it by k plus 8, or x plus 8. And then I'd have a common denominator, right? With my common denominator being this x minus 3 chunk times this x plus 8. Okay, on the left fraction, I'm going to keep that x, but then I'm going to multiply it by the piece that I'm missing, which is the x plus 8. And then I'm going to be careful because that subtraction is going to have to distribute across this whole x plus 1. So then when I'm done here, I'm going to resist the urge to distribute down here. I want to leave these like they are. Okay, so don't distribute until you absolutely have to in these problems, okay? But this one I have to. I don't see any other way. So I'm going to go x squared plus 8x. Distribute this, so I get negative x and minus 1. And then I'm just going to clean up my quadratic on the top. And it looks like I'm going to get an x squared plus 7x minus 1. I'm going to see if I can factor this out. If I can factor that top quadratic, then maybe one of these factors will go away. So let's try both of them. Well, what if I picked 8? Well, there's no way to make negative 1 with 8. What if I picked 3? Well, there's no way to make negative 1 with 3. So this guy would be fully simplified, and this is a rational function this time. It's got a quadratic on the top. It's got a quadratic on the bottom. So we need to be able to perform operations and simplify completely, okay? So there's two applications here. Perform the operation, simplify, because we got to be able to add, subtract, multiply, divide. And there's just simplifying it to see if we even have a rational function, okay? So you need to be able to simplify rational functions to finish this unit out. Thanks.